My name is Jonathan Parks, and welcome to Jonathan's Nature Crafts. I must inform you that I do not live in this house by myself, but live here with other people. Sometimes other members of the household may have to walk through areas where I might be recording with other family members on the phone. If you hear any noise like that, please feel free to disregard. We are doing our best to get noise canceling equipment, which may at least keep you from hearing exactly what is being said. Thank you for considering. Well, this is a little moment that I come on here just to kind of catch up a few things because I was tired this morning. I kind of had to get myself a little more woke up before I went into work, so didn't really have time to kind of work on these last two skirts like I probably thought I would. So this is just a moment I thought I'd come on and kind of do a little bit of that for you all, give you all a little show of it, and just let y'all know might have to keep my voice down a bit because it would be necessary for a time like this. I mean, I've got people upstairs in the upstairs part of the house who are sleeping. I know my dad, last time I checked, was sleeping in the living room, which is right above here, and my mom is more than likely asleep in their bedroom, which is just a little more down the hallway from here, close enough. But I'd say that this is just what I'm going to tell you all here is that there was probably a time I was having a conversation with my mom in the living room, and she told me about a certain time when my dad was back there taking a nap and said he couldn't sleep because I was talking so loud. So I'd say this kind of thing is going to happen here and there. We have to kind of control our voices a little bit. Mine just kind of carries. It gets a little too loud too easily, so I might kind of work about that, but do think this knife might need a little sharpening here. And I'm kind of using the fine side of the stone because that is better for knives that are sort of sharp but just need a little honing. And I say that this little sharpening time, I say that we kind of got a little genuine mahogany Santa here. Kind of got to make a little place in him where we kind of, I say like put the little cuts and marks. I say that this is just kind of some work that we get into things with and put a little style into them. I tell y'all that this will just be little fine dandy figures and tell you all that, oh, a little work shall make its way into this. I tell y'all that, oh, good little works shall make their way about us. Still think that these days are so good because I tell you all, I wanted to kind of go into McLeod's coffee house today because it's Thursday and that's when a lot of my friends come in, but it just kind of happened that I just kind of felt a little need to come home today because I took some money out of the bank to go in my stable account, so we kind of have to take care of that a little bit, just see what it's all going to do when it comes down in the end and makes its way up to us and tells us little things that we're going to need to see and know and to do and find out what it's all going to work out for to us and see the little things that make a lot of sense to us. Just kind of forgot what I was talking about or thinking about there, but I tell y'all that this is just the kind of thing that had to work on lately, so that's what I had to take care of today. And it's been kind of a rough week at work because it's getting closer to the end of the year. We're trying to get things settled down by the end of the year, and the end of the school year, that is. And in that little dish room where I work, I've just been kind of a little bit short of help, but thankfully I've been able to get like a different person to help me every day, and that has helped me so much to kind of deal with all I've had to do and see what I've had to see. And I'd say that it's been a lot of work just to kind of get a few things together here and there. And so I say that this is just kind of some good little work we have in ourselves to make things see what we want them to see. And I tell y'all that just for a little time and effort in our work, we're making things just as beautiful as we want them to be. I say it's hard just to kind of like to keep the chips where they can just fall in the pan. I'd say the worst of them do, but the pan probably collects enough of it that we just don't have as general a mess on the floor as we otherwise would. So we're kind of keeping things so much together here as to keep things a little more settled down and make the little Santa Clauses just the best we can make them, just to kind of have a little extra work in ourselves and put ourselves in the little position of making things little happy Santas. And I tell y'all that this is just kind of working like a way that we have in our things. And I tell y'all that there's going to be more to share, more to know, more to see, more to do. Kind of get a little bit overtimed in my videos lately, so kind of worked our best as to how we could take care of that as much as we could. And I say that there's just a little time and work and a piece that kind of makes its way around and sees what we have and what we do. They always tell the old tales about Father Niklaas, you know, all the old tales, I say. And sometimes I think even May can just be a good enough month for anything. I mean, I tell you, there were times I bought in little yard sales and garage sales, little Christmas decorations that used to belong to my great aunt, and sometimes they were at my grandmother's house, and I'd kind of take them home and use them, and kind of thought they were kind of beautiful to look at first at times. And then, you know, you kind of lose your attachment to things, kind of move on to look at other things and move around and get other things. And some things, they just kind of can just lose a bit of their value over time. I know some people who collect a lot of thrift stuff, and sometimes even for some people, you know, buying thrift and collecting thrift is a good collection. There's people probably about 20 or 25 years younger than me who, you know, I'd say they do a lot of that stuff. And, you know, and some of what they collect might even be from before my time, but it is so cool what they do. I think it's always interesting to kind of look at everyone else's interests, see what everybody else collects and what they do for hobbies and for a living, and know what it all is about. Because I just know there's been times I was at a show in Somerset years ago around Christmas time, and it was probably called a Holly Jolly Market or something like that, and wanted to make mention to you of the fact that it just so happened that with all that stuff on my table that people saw and liked and said how stinking cute about, Somebody even asked me what I did for a living. I said, I don't do much for a living. I said, I'm kind of disabled, special needs. I live in my parents' basement. I get benefits from the government, and other than that, just work part-time in a school cafeteria. So that was kind of the life for me. And I'd say that there's times in our lives when we know lots of things and see lots of things. I've had people make posts on Twitter and stuff about how they wished for shorter work days because there was so much in life to explore. And I'd be saying to them, you could be like me and have shorter work days on account of being disabled, but you'd have to accept every reality that comes with it. So I find myself all my life, even as I get older, accepting things as my realities that I didn't spend my whole life thinking I'd always have to. So it's kind of what we learn in life and do in life that kind of makes us who we are and what we know. I say that this little good little Santa Claus is just a kind of time away when we see that in any part of the world he's just going to be who he's going to be. There's a traditional Santa for every part of the world, but I'll tell y'all that even after after we had the Ukrainian invasion of Russia, I made a couple of little Ukrainian Santas in a way. I kind of looked them up on the internet to see a little ideal or two as to how they were made, and it just really, really, really came out just fine. So I sort of drew the lines in where I drew them and carved it out the way I did. Don't think I ever kept or made a pattern of how I did it, but it would be simple for me to kind of go back and look at the pictures I made of them and kind of go back and draw the same lines accordingly and carve it again from memory, or better yet, just by looking at the pictures. It's kind of the things that I have in my life, and all the things people say it takes talent to do, but everything takes a different kind of talent. There's some things in life we don't go for as much as we do other things, and I say that there's been times in my life when it was always hard to fit in, because sometimes, you saw the kids who did the silly things and you kind of wanted to do what they did when you were around them. Sometimes the people who would have otherwise been your friends might have been around you when you were copying that, and they wouldn't want to be around you at other times because you were too silly at those times. And that's pretty much kind of been the way that the story of my life so much went, because I'd say that the strange things we've done in our lives, some people will remember them forever, and they'll just always be the stories they'll remember us by. I would get silly enough as a kid that people could predict I was going to be silly again if I came around them, and just never knew exactly how it was going to happen or what was going to happen, but never knew why they were doing it. Never thought my behavior was all that bad, or that my sillies were really all that bad to begin with. Sometimes there's little times in your life when you get a little older, look back and realize they were, but you probably never knew that when you were a kid. At least some of us. Some of you all, when you were kids, you probably got along with other kids real well. I didn't do that too well, I'd say, and there have been little times in my life when, even as a grown-up, things have been kind of strange here and there. It was kind of hard to get involved in people's activities sometimes because I worked so much and, just had so much ministry to do in my younger years, and even some people I worked with would invite me to come along and do things, but probably would say that for the least that they weren't the type of people I would have done it with. Come down to where we see we're only going to be 15 minutes on this video. It's been 20 minutes on the others, but it took quite a while to carve around the skirt of this one because we needed a little time just to sharpen the knife a little more. But I thank you all for coming on. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully we can get one more video made where we're working on this other one too, and hope to see the best of you all in the future. Hope to show you more of what I can do and my skill and my talent, and see you all for the far future and for the best. Thank you all very much. Goodbye. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. I hope to see you in the next video. Stay tuned.